We all know how great guns are. After all, if you have a gun and the other guy doesn't, you win. And if the other guy has Skittles, that's a bonus. If, on the other hand, the guy also has a gun, then you get to go out in a blaze of glory. You will be remembered as a total hero, and people will sing songs about you. The point is, guns are a total win-win for pretty much everybody. Also, they're shiny. This past weekend, there were 69 separate shootings in the city of Chicago. You know, like the oral sex position. That's right, 69 different people exercised their constitutional right to attempt murder on one another with a firearm. It must have been glorious. For those of you guys who are gun policy wonks like me, well, first of all, I'll see you at PolicyCon 16 at my house. Second, you may remember Chicago used to forbid handgun possession within city limits because Chicago used to be gay. Fortunately, a totally brave, manly man stood up for Americans everywhere and sued in the case called McDonald versus Chicago, not to be confused with McDonald's versus Chicago, in which Chicago sued to make the McRib a permanent part of the menu. Otis McDonald was a 76-year-old retiree who was in no way used as a frontman for the NRA, even a little bit. Eventually, McDonald made its way to the Supreme Court, and those heroes declared the Chicago law unconstitutional, which makes total sense, because if the Founding Fathers stood for nothing else, it was ensuring that black people got shot. Sadly, Otis McDonald never got to legally murder anyone in his home. Unless you count Gladys at Canasta, am I right? Suck it, Gladys! What were the results? Well, last year, Chicago was named America's Mass Shooting Capital, presumably by Mass Shooting Magazine, your monthly resource for shooting lots of people at once. More than 100 people were shot in Chicago in the first 10 days of the year because Chicago don't procrastinate. I'm looking at you, Cleveland. And all those mass shootings were ISIS attacks. I'm fairly sure about that. The point here is that the result of McDonald versus Chicago was becoming a totally awesome dystopian hellscape. If you're someone who likes gunplay, and really, who doesn't, Chicago is the place for you. Now, to be fair, some of this is the result of the recession and Rahm Emanuel being the most awesome mayor ever. But easy access to legal handguns sure gets a big assist on this one. But Robert, you might be saying, I can't go to Chicago with my ankle bracelet and all. What can I do to make my city more like this glorious utopia? Well, if your city hasn't had decades of racist housing and education policies, you might be out of luck. Fortunately, almost all American cities have had these policies, so all you have to do is buy a gun and wait. I personally recommend buying two, one for formal occasions and one for more sporty occasions. Tired of waiting? Form a neighborhood watch with friends from the bar, or just yourself. But what if I don't like guns, Robert, you might be asking? Well, if that's the case, I suggest you move your ass to England like a big girly homosexual. Stay strong, America, and await further instructions.
Yay, nice job, buddy.